from deadly tsunami-prone locations to areas with an overabundance of crime, we count 10 places on Earth you are most likely to get killed in. Number 1, Naples, Italy. Over 650,000 people live in this death trap, surrounded by volcanoes on all sides, with a single eruption forcing the evacuation of more than 1 million people from the surrounding area. Not even 2,000 years ago, one of the nearby volcanoes exploded, destroying the ancient cities of Pompeii and Herculaneum, with 50 subsequent volcano eruptions since. The nearby Mediterranean Sea hosts a resort island known as Ischia. An eruption there would affect Naples and might even be worse than the explosion 2,000 years ago. Number 2, Grand Canyon, Arizona. You might not think it's a dangerous place because of what a tourist hotspot it is, but don't be fooled. All it takes is one wrong step and death is certain. At least, most of the time it is. A 21-year-old was driving across the edge when he accidentally plummeted off the cliff, but luckily he was saved by a tree that slowed his fall near the bottom. For others, the falls are intentional. The Grand Canyon is known to be the nation's second highest location for suicide. Number 3, Maco, Brazil. Known to sin as Murder Central, this capital of the Alagoas state sees 135 murders for each 100,000 citizens per year. It even tops Rio de Janeiro, which is itself known for the slums and back alleyways. While most would assume the Amazon rainforest to be the most dangerous part of Brazil, the populated areas aren't exactly friendly either. Number 4, Baghdad, Iraq. This one should be fairly obvious if you're keeping up with the news. Frequent bombing, gunfire and unspeakable violence. Most travel agents will warn you about traveling here, but if you absolutely must for a good reason, you should be aware that terrorism isn't easy to predict. In 2012, Baghdad was listed as one of the least hospitable places in the world to live, with Mercer ranking it as the worst of 221 major cities when it comes to quality of life. Number 5, Mogadishu, Somalia. This city has had endless problems with militants, particularly the Al-Shabaab who, at one point, controlled most of the city. For a number of years the United States wouldn't even consider entering into relations with that whole country, but it's only recently that advisors were sent to the city of Mogadishu to assist locals in rebelling against the militants. Travel to these regions is still risky. Number 6, Istanbul, Turkey. A disaster waiting to happen. 12 million residents in Istanbul living atop the North Anatolian Fault, also known as Earthquake Central. In 1999 a 7.6 magnitude earthquake decimated the city of Izmit, with the estimated death toll exceeding 40,000. In a 2010 study, Nature Geosciences discovered that tensions along the fault are building, with a magnitude 7 or greater quake in the next 25 years exceeding a 30 to 60% chance. Number 7, San Pedro Sula, Honduras. Known everywhere as simply murder capital of the world, this is one of the most violent cities on earth. The homicide rate exceeds 170 per 100,000 people, with arms trafficking and illegal firearms everywhere. Some blame the deportation of Los Angeles gangs from the 1990s, including Mar Salvatrucha and the 18th Street Gang, as the major cause of this violence. Number 8, Chihuahua, Mexico. This city is one of the most notorious for drug-related crimes, especially when it comes to cocaine smuggling into the United States. Drug cartels had the area under the thumb, with firefights common in the streets and violence everywhere. The crime got so bad that law enforcement actually had to enact Operation Chihuahua to conduct anti-drug operations, which, if reports are to be believed, have seen a positive and noticeable reduction in crime. Number 9, Cape Town, South Africa. This place isn't so bad, except due to poverty and social turmoil the crime rate is atrociously high from desperate people. Like Yemen, this place attracts tourists for its beauty, but you are actually allowed to visit Cape Town. They just advise you don't travel alone and that you avoid the more notoriously dangerous districts. Number 10, Guatemala. This, among a number of other countries in Central America, get hit by a series of natural disasters, including hurricanes, Mudslides and earthquakes. In 1976, a 7.5 magnitude earthquake killed more than 23,000 people in Guatemala alone. And again in 2005, the remnants of Hurricane Stan caused over 900 mudslides in the area, swallowing entire villagers and everyone who lived there off the face of the earth.